Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings to the universe.
Guess I'm locked in. Looking for a piece of mind. I've been trying to redefine life. I can see the signs. Word is going to see me shine. Fighting for my soul, say, whipping fast, no brakes.
Hey, check this out.
Look at the 1800s, type in any city you want and do the Great Fire of that city. They burnt this whole country, all the major cities in the 1800s. Type in any city right now. The Great Fire of Los Angeles, the Great Fire of San Diego, the Great Fire of Cleveland, the Great Fire of New York City, the Great Fire of Chicago, the Great Fire of Tallahassee. Pick a city. I guarantee you there was a fire, 1800s, early 1900s. What was that? How does all these cities just miraculously go on fire and burn to the ground?
Legendary comedian Jim Breuer bringing up a valid point. What happened in the 1900s and why were there so many fires? He doesn't bring up a valid point. He says test it. Go to Google and put the Great Fire in blank, and guaranteed in any city that you look up in the US in the 1900s, 1800s, there was a huge fire that burnt the city down. Believe me, right here, the Great Fire of Chicago, 1871. Great Fire of Memphis in 1872, a year later. Great Fire of San Francisco, 1851. Great Fire of Philadelphia, 1850. Great Fire of Cincinnati, 1881. Great Fire of Pittsburgh, 1845. Great Fire of Boston, 1872. This goes on and on and on. Don't believe me? Look it up for yourself. My question is, how are all these fires happening all around the same time? Was everything just made of highly flammable wood? Something does not add up in our history because these buildings were also being built around the same time. The Chicago Federal Building that was built in 1898. How are these buildings being built in these cities that are still standing, but also all of the city is burning to the ground? Exactly what were they trying to erase in the 1800s? They were trying to erase history, they were trying to erase fact, and they were trying to erase title deeds. I don't know exactly what they were trying to do, but they did it. Or something is going on. There is no way that all of these fires happened all around the same time. We're also building European, Greek-like structures all over America and calling them federal buildings. We're having record number fires burning entire cities to the ground. Something doesn't add up. Check it for yourself. Go to Google and put the Great Fire of and put a city name in and be astonished. Let me know what you think. It's us.
Our history may not be exactly what they tell us. Did you know that all of the major cities in the United States had catastrophic fires in the 1800s and early 1900s that may not seem like much until you realize before the fires, this is what the cities looked like. We're told these magnificent buildings were just wood and plaster and thrown together in a couple of years for world fairs. But look at how massive these buildings were. This is Buffalo, New York, and we're supposed to believe this was built with horse and buggy and was just a temporary building? Does this look temporary to you? Something is not adding up. San Francisco also had a real treasure island, and this was Chicago, the White City. This is what's left of it. All destroyed in mysterious fires or controlled demolition. If you knew what we were taught in school wasn't exactly accurate, you might have some questions, like I do. Like, what could they possibly be covering up by burning these beautiful buildings to the ground? Maybe that giants once existed, maybe that energy is actually free and can be harvested from the ether, or maybe creatures we are told are mythological actually existed and still do. Maybe that our maps are wrong and the stories that we read about in the Bible actually took place here. But I don't know. Let me know what you think.
Let's jump right in. We've all heard of the 1871 Chicago fire, about how the cow tipped over the candle and burned everything down. They even named their soccer team after it, so we've all seen it, the Chicago fire. Well, one or even two fires isn't very convincing. Fires happen, right? But the Chicago fire was the only city that burned down, right? Wait, Boston burned down a year later? After Chicago? Okay, well, that's two fires. Big deal. Like I said, 2 fires is nothing. Accidents happen. Cows tip over candles and burn everything down once in a while, right? It was the 1800s. What do you expect? Everything is going to burn down. They didn't have water. Okay, maybe they did have water, but they didn't know how to use it to put out a candle. Well, it is kind of weird. They knew how to build these incredible structures, but didn't know how to put out a fire. Well, whatever, let's continue. What? You're telling me that Seattle burned down in 1889? New York had a Great Fire in 1835. What? Pittsburgh had a Great Fire too? 1845? No way. Portland? 1866. San Francisco? 1851? It destroyed as much as 3/4 of San Francisco? Are you joking? What the heck? Okay, well, that is kind of a lot, but who knows? Could be a coincidence, right? Well, why don't we just keep going until it's not a coincidence anymore? Let's do it. Dayton, 1882. The fire burns blocks of downtown Dayton. Guess we'll never see that again. Thanks a lot. St. Louis, Great Fire, 1849. Milwaukee, Great Fire, 1892. More than 440 buildings burned down. Charleston, 1861. What caused it? Cook Fire, lighting this whole city up on fire and burned over 540 acres. You kidding me? Richmond, 1811. A theater fire. Burning everything down. Portsmouth, 1813. Destroyed 500 buildings. Wow. Galveston, 1885. Burned hundreds of homes across 40 city blocks. Who knows what kind of buildings were in here? Who knows what kind of structures we could have seen that they burned down? Atlanta Great Fire, 1917. Let's get Toronto involved in 1904. Destroyed a large section of downtown Toronto. 1904. Gone. Gone forever. Troy, 1862. Gone. Dallas, Texas. 1860. A fire consumed Dallas. Let's stick with Texas. And of course Houston in 1912 was burned down. Blaze traveled more than 1.5 miles. All of it is gone. Phoenix, 1916. It was caused by a spark from a generator, and the city's gone. Just destroyed because of another fire. No way did Philadelphia burn down too. Yep, it did. This one is the craziest of them all. It was caused by a lighter that was found near a tree. Give me a break. It's basically every single major city. I think you guys get the point. It is every single major city in the USA and even Canada. Yet we only really hear about the one, which is Chicago. Why is that? Can we all agree that all of these major cities burning to the ground and destroying all of the stone buildings along the way in a time frame of about 80 years is a little odd? I could be wrong, but I think it may be time that we just agree the controllers destroyed these cities and the ancient buildings that were there. Not some children's story that a cow tipped over the candle and burned down the entire city. Let's get a little deeper. Ellis Island officially opened as an immigration station January 1st, 1892. 1892, on the money. New Year's Day. They begin bringing these people over from Europe, basically saying to us, hey everyone, come on over now. everything is safe to look at now after we've burned everything down. Okay, so they burned things down for like a whole century. And then right after that, they say, all right, guys, come on over. You know, it's safe, basically. Incredible. And for a little bonus, I just wanted to throw in this Star Fort. I thought it was incredible. I saw it, and I think it was cool. I wanted to share it with you guys. It's Fort de Nasa, Senhora de Graça in Portugal. I probably pronounced that wrong, but you guys get the point. I just wanted to let you guys know that I thought that was a really cool picture. And it's interesting. It's one of those things you can only see from an aerial view. So they built it knowing that, you know, you'd have to see it from above.
Don't you find it just a little suspicious that all of the big cities in the 1800s seemed to burn up? Every single one, from Chicago to New York, Sacramento, even through Canada, much of Australia. All these great fires had burned these really huge granite buildings to the ground. It doesn't make sense.
This is an image of a building half buried by an event most would call mud flood. But in the late 1800s, the German people dug out this Roman-type architecture building. But in the early 1900s, most of the city was destroyed by a huge fire